Vi as well, as we have seen Vi come start to creep back into the meta too.
I would like to see the Vi. I'm always a big Vi fan, especially just for the point and click, you know, being able to lock down somebody, at least, as the Ezreal does get locked in. The Ahri also locked in, which was banned away in that first game.
Yeah, so here it means that Yagao could go towards something like the LeBlanc if you want to try and answer this. You imagine you're going to get the AD carry here locked in for Hope. We'll have to see exactly what he decides to go for, but I think a LeBlanc could work out pretty well, like get good damage on towards the backline, decent poke, and it's just a pretty good matchup into the Ahri. But we have seen Lissandra also start to teeter into the meta as like one of these big answers to the Ahri, taking that electrocute build, and it looks like that is going to be the plan here for Yagao.
I can appreciate that one as well. Coming in here for JDG, trying to find a little bit of stability in the mid lane potentially, but they have a ton of CC already with their first 2 picks, at least the setup from Viego, and then multiple forms of CC from the Lissandra. We'll see if they do also want to go with that extra aggressive style ADC that might fit them a little bit better. The Kalista does get locked in, so you get your wish, Dagda.
Yeah, I think Kalista is just an incredibly strong pick, and at least with JDG, the way that they've set up this, it is going to be all in on this mid game, right? Like Lissandra being able to set up these engages for the Kalista to fling in her support. Like, you are very much looking at JDG trying to play these dive style. So having the opportunity for the Trundle now to come in for Aki might try and dissuade that a little bit by trying to like steal some of these stats from what you imagine would be like a tanky support, or even from the Viego as well if Viego tries to go in too deep. But Renata taking off the board, such a good pick with the Kalista, but I still imagine something like an Alistar or something like a Leona is going to be what JDG are eyeing up in this bottom side.
I do really like the fact that Aki is willing to bring out the Trundle again this split already and have that kind of tank shreddiness available to them. I do wonder, JDG, if they're kind of wondering what to go here, if they do go with something a little bit more CC heavy to finish it out, if they do continue to grab all that CC that they've already gotten in the first 3, especially with the Fate's Call added there on the Kalista. We do get the Rumble ban by JDG, and it is a Kennen ban again from OMG.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout. Like for what JDG want, they're gonna all be grouping up into one area, and they want to try and like very quickly win out in these team fights. Kennen working super well with that idea of playing into those mid-game team fights. I'm also curious to see if JDG bans something like the Kayle. Actually going to take away the set, because in my eyes here, I think OMG, if you take an engaged support, like take, say, the Leona away from JDG in this scenario, right? I think you can then look towards the Kayle in the later portion of the draft as well, depending on the matchup against 369. And then I think whoever you have this like JDG lineup try and dive in on top of gets the Kayle ult, you can save them, try and like find your footing in the team fight from that point forward. And then you've got late game scaling with Shanji, which is once you have like one unit here that, or one champion for OMG that can have that later game scaling, that can pretty much just be your win con. Even against what looks like the Gragas top,
yeah,
I think Kayle could definitely be an option here.
Very interesting. They go ahead and grab the Gragas. They also lock in the Gwen here. So nice little double combo from JDG. We didn't highlight, though, as the Alistar was picked up for Cold and OMG. So a lot of the engage, a lot of tankiness there to go in the front line for a lot of the damage dealers we've already seen, the Ezreal and the Ahri. Now we do have Shanji with the final pick here. Needs to figure out what he can go in this situation. He does lock in the Kayle, like you said, Dagda. Big brain Dagda on the desk.
I think this is a really good shout, right? Like, I think the Gwen can do reasonably well in the early stages into the Kayle, but when you look at the late game, right, Kayle shouldn't be in a great spot for these team fights. And I like the fact that you have so much kind of range in OMG as well, because yes, you've got the Lissandra who can be that engage tool for JDG, but Gragas not great on the engages, like much better as kind of a disengaged champion, so trying to deny like follow up from Code and that. But I mean, from the perspective of like the cast and stuff like that, you really need to be on point here as missing and following up with Yagao if you want to actually make those picks stick.
And I think the sticking is what's important. And when you're looking at JDG, especially coming out that first game, it is stability early on. Hopefully not getting any of those flip situations, those early 5v5s that they think they can come out on top with. But it is about stability for themselves and finding a foothold in this game, in this series itself. Because, again, JDG are one game away from taking a loss for the first time in their series score, at least in the summer split. And I think that's important to say, as OMG, this could be their first win of a series in the split. And the way that they came out in game number 1, I think is so important. But again, it's a bit of a reset. And JDG are still JDG, and we have to give them a benefit of the doubt. I know you're saying, you were very hesitant to call them one of the best teams in the LPL early on in the split, but we have seen their track record early on in the split, and it does get good as it goes further on. So I'm very excited to see if they can turn this around, make this a full 3-game series, because that's what I'm here for, at least. I know that's what I signed up for when I came to the LPL, because I want to see the back and forth. I want to see JDG put up a fight here and not go quietly into the night, as we do have our second game on the table and we hit the rift.
Yeah, I definitely think JDG are one of the best teams that we have in the LPL, but I think it's a case of, are they the best team in the LPL? Because that's a conversation that's been thrown around a little bit, and I still think like OMG, that's adorable.
A little bit advanced. You got to get the cowbell. We need more cowbell.
With OMG coming back off of MSI, we just haven't seen enough of what they are capable of, and the inconsistency, as we've seen from JDG in their losses, has just been a very standout for me. So I want to see JDG. I want to believe in JDG. Like, I've been a fan of this team since like 2020, where it was like the top esports versus JDG era when I joined the LPL, and like there was so much fun and so much back and forth between these two teams. But now having that kind of slip in 2021, honestly, kind of starting from the World Championship in 2020, where JDG really underperformed, ended up losing out to Suning, and Suning ended up going on to represent LPL against Damwon in that World Championship. It feels like JDG have kind of been on that slow decline, but now coming into 2022, we're seeing rising back to what old fans would hope for JDG. But we just need to see that continue.
Exactly that. It's also telling as well that they have hope on their team. I think, there's never been a better name in the moment, but we will see as the game continues on and starts off at least. 369 having heavy trades against Shanji early. Needs to try and get ahead of this Kayle as best as possible. You would want, as I had that whole conversation with Ox the other night that, as a play-by-play, I know how to count, and Kayle is really easy for me because I can count to 11 and I can count to 16. I get to do that again tonight, which I'm very happy about. Again, makes it very easy for me. But 369 himself wants a bounce back from that last game, right? Like, you do not want to go into a Vladimir match like that and get handled the way you did and not come into game 2 with a little bit of gruff.
And he's doing a really good job here at the moment, right? Like, in the early stages in top lane matchups, the level is so much more valuable than those early minions. And you can see there, right? 369 denying Shanji access to where he can get experience from the minions. So still sitting at level 1 despite the full wave
Aki
already
knows
being
this is
gone.
coming.
So here we go.
He gets the red buff. There's the missed out. Kanavi is not going to get the red. Does just spend a little bit of time in OMG's jungle. We'll start up the Krugs here. We got a bit of a 2v2 action going on the top side of the map, but Aki doesn't want to just let the Krugs go. Skirmish might not go their way. Those smites do come out as well. And it'll be just Kanavi cleaning up a little bit of gold up here, while Shanji still level 1 up in this top side.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about, right? 369 doing a really good job of denying Shanji access to minions, but I don't think... Oh, we are looking at a dive. Yagao's
oh my god, they're bringing him too. They know, though, that the ward will spot out Yagao, but they're going to go for this. This is a dive in the durability patch at 3.5 minutes. They get Aki as the electrocute comes down. Shanji will not go down. The tower shots are huge. Kanavi getting the last one, and they beautifully execute that tower dive. That minion wave is gigantic, and JDG come out 2-0.
Yeah, Shanji going to TP back in, but the juggling on the wave was so good. That tower damage never got to strike anyone down. And I mean, for Yagao, right, he just resets now, can always TP back into the mid. He hasn't really lost out on too much, and just a really nice dive from JDG, because if you actually look, the cleanse is on Ahri, so you're not having the ability for Creme to try and move back up towards his top side. And just the dive, so well coordinated, right? Yagao ends up being the one that just tanks up the tower damage here, so Kanavi can finish off. Yagao knows he's got the red buff, so waits until he ends up taking that tower aggro with the red buff burn, so that then Kanavi can finish off the kill.
I'm just getting so many clips and moments in my head here where I'm just justifying the fact that the LPL does it best in this patch. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, we do it best. And it's JDG who bounced back from that early game of game number 1, now with their own early game in game number 2. And I think that's huge to set up the rest of the game itself. We're looking at some scaling aspects on the side of OMG. I still really like that mid game. And speaking of, JDG want to continue to get a lead. And now they're looking at bot lane as Abel has to get away. No summoner spells used by the OMG bot lane, though.
Yeah, Missing getting clean with it, though. Sticks the barrel in behind Abel, so in case of even when he arcane shifts, he still takes the damage, which sets up for the belly bop. So nice job there for Missing to get some good poke. Did end up igniting a bit early, though, as Hope did get knocked away by Cold, but still will give control to JDG in the spot side, and that's all that Kanavi really needs to start up this dragon.
It'll be first dragon going to JDG, just the ocean dragon to go, and it'll be the priority in bot lane that helps do that here. And I think the early game focus for objectives for JDG last game was okay still, even if they were losing those early picks and getting picked off in certain ways, early skirmishes as well. But it's about continuing that here. That first drag will be a good start for JDG, as they have already had a good start in this game. About 1.5K in the lead, just under 6 minutes, which, you know, not much to write home about, but it's something if you just want to say hello to mom and pa. But it's an incredible start for JDG after, you know, that detrimental start last game.
I love the idea of 369 just going, "Dear mom and dad, today I did a thing." Shanji missed out on a ton of CS, and now he needs help from his jungler. Aki is going to try and gank me, but I get to walk away.
I have so many friends. Cold goes back in for the double engage. Does get slowed up here, though. Oh, the Q misses from Hope. The stun also flashed away from Cold, and because they had those summoner spells up, they get away.
I mean, honestly, this is actually kind of nice for JDG, though, right? Like, getting summoner spells out from that bot lane means when Missing and Hope do hit 6, you have the opportunity to make some really nice plays. Cold as well won't have any sort of flash engages for something like the Rift Herald in just over a minute's half time. So kind of making things a little bit easier for JDG in these early stages. Aki, though, already getting some deep vision established, as we might be looking for a bit more.
JDG just... the bounce back, man. They are going for tower dives. They're pushing under turrets. They're early on. They did not take that first game very well, and I wouldn't have either. You know, I'm just saying, as a play, if I were a player, we do get 369 up into this top side though. Just keep trading down against Shanji, who has hit that level 6 mark now. We do have junglers backpathing in this bottom side of the map. Aki himself coming out onto the map, but it will be a reset for Missing, so the timing just a little bit off. Won't be able to really find anything down there. Just going to keep clearing.
Yeah, I think Missing and Hope's just going to reset now. Send Missing up towards the Rift Herald, so then he can try and help out with taking that objective. Hope, I imagine, will still move down towards the bottom side, where he's going to just try and match the 1v1 push from Abel, and making sure that that's all fine. So at the moment, I mean, JDG kind of just playing their bog standard game, right? This is what we talked about. Kanavi putting some pressure down on the bottom side to unlock Missing. Now Missing and Kanavi can work together to get Rift Herald, and continuously just playing for more and more of these neutral objectives.
You see Missing in mid lane, giving Creme a little bit of worry there, as it is already Kanavi taking the Rift Herald to start it off. We do have Cold going that way, as well as Aki. I won't be spotting it just yet. We did get the Missing ping, and now the engage. Cold gets stopped in his tracks, though. Double stun there. Yagao almost gets the kill here. He does end up getting killed. Now you have to worry about the frozen thralls, and it comes right for Creme. Creme one tap away, and there's the barrel to finish it off.
Great disengage from Missing. The second you get that headbutt coming in from Cold, Missing gets the belly bop, interrupts the dash, and it means that JDG now get the Rift Herald. Actually going to end up picking it up here for 369, and Missing gets killed. So well played. Like, watch it here, right? Cold is on a ward, so Missing ready for that engage, and then Yagao in the perfect spot to get the double lock up. They get the kill onto Cold, which lets Kanavi then set up for the play onto onto Creme as well. Just really well orchestrated by JDG.
That was really good, and they, you know, got the Rift Herald at the same time. They got their cake and ate it too. I will see if they can use it in this top side though. 369 still putting up pressure. They definitely want to keep that pressure up onto Shanji, as Kanavi will stick around here in the 2v1. Shanji does have some help from Aki, who's pathing up towards his top side, though. Rift Herald is going to be something to keep an eye on, though, as 369 will have to utilize that sooner than later, I would say. But it's just going to lend out here as Creme moving up towards his top side, just making sure to be available for those roams, which we've seen Yagao be able to do so far.
Yeah, especially because they spotted Kanavi on that ward that Aki placed earlier. So that's why we're seeing Aki moving up here as well. They're just making sure that Shanji can crash this wave and isn't going to fall even further behind. You can see already a significant CS advantage for 369, and a large portion of like where that big 3k gold lead is coming from.
And that 3k gold lead, not too shabby. It's a 10-minute mark here. We do have another dragon coming up in 35 seconds. Will be the second dragon of the game. If JDG want to put priority on that, they already have Kanavi down that way, while Ahri needs to stop the bleeding up in this top side a little bit. Get some flexi seal up in this thing, as he's just waiting and biding his time, hoping that 369 takes the bait.
Yeah, you can even see they're moving code up here as well, but they're trying to trade this for presence on the dragon, but 369 isn't taking it. He's like, look, I know that we're going to win on the bottom side of the map. I'm not going to risk running into any sort of issues on the top side. He takes it slow. He's avoided everything, and it's just a lot of wasted time for Ahri.
It is indeed, and now Rift Herald's still available for 369, which means now we'll more than likely see Ahri go to the other side of the map, which gives 369 a lot more room to work with up here, as Yagao now as well. Frozen Tomb comes out. There's the Everfrost. Righteous Judgment comes out, but it's only going to delay the inevitable here as Shanji goes down to 369.
I mean, JDG winning out everywhere on the map. Get the play on Shanji on top side, Dragon on the bottom side, Mountain Dragon available now for them as well if they're looking towards that soul. This is JDG now getting angry after game number 1.
Which is, you know, fine by me, because that's exactly what I would expect from a team like this. Missing is going to miss the body slam there a little bit cheeky. Try to go for the engage. Kanavi onto this bottom side. There's the Rift Herald and some free gold into 369's pocket, and there's no real response to come out from OMG because they really just can't respond. Ahri gets caught up by Kanavi. He's already got half his health missing. Subjugation is going to come through here, though, and the healing's going to be nice. The tankiness as well. Cold coming over the wall. Creme is on his way, too. Can they get out? They go for the engage. Nice engage, though, for Cold on the other side to back them off. Creme gets out alive here. Kanavi goes down to Cold.
They try and go that bit too far now. JDG get caught out. Kill onto Kanavi, and that's going to give a little bit of breathing room to OMG on this bottom side. And some lovely goal back in the hands of OMG. It's just unfortunate that the kill does end up going to Cold in the end.
Let's see the cask used there on the bottom side near picture-in-picture. Was not able to get able himself. Blue buff will be secured by Hope here in the bottom side of the map, though. It will be another jungle camp taken away from Ahri. Finds himself pathing towards the top side of the map. But for now, it will be just JDG pushing in this bottom side as we take a look at that unfortunate circumstance for Ahri and for Kanavi in the end.
Yeah, I mean, this is where Ahri, I think, rightly goes, cool, I've got Subjugate. I'm actually totally fine to go against Kanavi. And you don't have the bot lane of Missing and Hope moving quick enough to go and support Kanavi. Code is actually the one that gets there first. Creme is able to move across as well to help out. So you just end up with a big numbers advantage for OMG, and they're able to get away before Hope and Missing are in a position to take that fight. And if you can delay this as OMG, slow down the pace of the game, that's good, but not happening.
Creme doesn't have Spirit Rush. He has nothing available. The double CCs come through, and Creme will die. Kanavi picks up his second kill of the game.
And this is where JDG, again, just trying to pick up that tempo again. Make sure that they're speeding up this game, because if they end up going super late, that's where Shanji can come online. So they go instead to make the play mid, try to get this presence on the bot side in this mid lane as well, and start opening up the map in favor of JDG.
Taking a look at item completions there. We've seen multiple Everfrost already, such a cheap item. Gonna be completed there, but we're still working on our mythics across the board. We got the Rift Maker available for 369 now as well. We're waiting on these ADCs to really hit that precipice. Essence Reaver has been completed for Abel, though, and that's going to be a nice little damage spike, but you're still waiting. You're still buying time as first tower goes down 369, getting even more gold in his pocket.
And JDG just getting control of this top side. More control wards going down. Missing, pushing in on the bot side with Hope. Kanavi, they can play mid.
You find the Everfrost again. He still does. Actually, he does have the Everfrost up. Also gets out with it. So there you go. The utilization of the ultimate gets Creme to safety and needs to be careful on the bounce back again. They did target him last time. He didn't have the ulti up. Abel and Cold in some trouble, but will get themselves out of dodge.
Yeah, you still have Kanavi, though, and Yagao with presence in this mid lane, right? You end up getting Hurrying out of the equation, but I don't know if you want to try and commit to this, Ahri.
We get fights, but nobody dies.
Yeah.
We're just getting like the trade backs back and forth. Another tower might fall here for JDG, though.
Yeah, I think Aki just trying to see if he can disrupt the 1-2 punch that JDG were trying to set up. Yagao pushes mid, and then they roam bot to try and look for a dive, but it doesn't really matter. Abel and Co back away, hope the missing still get the tower. So all 3 outer turrets now down for OMG, and you can already see the vision control for JDG being established in this top side. They're looking for the Rift Herald. They want to make sure that they're snowballing this game continuously.
Yeah, and it's really rough, right? Because we saw Aki actually hover down towards that bottom side as the bottom lane for JDG was extending a little bit, but they back off. Perfect timing. Aki wastes some more time. He loses some of the vision control in the top side of his jungle, and now Kanavi himself is going to be there ready to go for the Rift Herald fight if that comes to be, as we do have a dragon spawning 15 seconds. But the Rift Herald itself is another unlocking tool for JDG. We have a ton of response from OMG up this way, though.
Yeah, I think this is where OMG are kind of going, right, if we can try and get this, if maybe we can get a pick beforehand, it could work out for us. You can see a lot of darkness in and around that objective. So maybe Cole can get the engage, has his flash, and a lot of it again relies on these support engages for OMG.
It does indeed. The pillar does come out, missing on the side here. This could be a huge cask. It does separate the team a little bit. Everfrost comes out. Yagao over the wall, though. Double root, double knockup for the Fade's call as well. Creme in some trouble. Everybody's dashing away, but they're all dying at the same time. Missing Burning, but will not die. They get a second kill as Hope flames Cole.
And that could be the game-defining fight for JDG. The fact that OMG got nothing, couldn't find the engage, now gives them Rift Herald the opportunity to swing over towards the dragon as well if they'd like. And it looks like that is actually going to be the call. Continue stacking these dragons, more so than getting that Rift Herald.
It will indeed, and I can appreciate that stacking there. Aki just wants to get the Scuttle Crab before he dies, and it will be secured by Kanavi. So you don't get anything this time around, Aki. It will be another dragon going to JDG. They'll be on Soul Point, and I would expect them to transition this into the Rift Herald, as there are already tons of pings coming that way.
Yeah, I mean, that is basically like a kid saying, no, you can't play with this toy, it's mine for Kanavi. Like, smiting the Scuttle Crab away from Aki when Dragon is up and available is just like, no, you can't have this. My mammy said this is mine. But you can see here, OMG, as soon as they realize that there's multiple members of JDG here, they just realize they can't go up. Great Everfrost and Yagao to set up the engage, missing, then instantly flashing in to make sure they can get the kill. And I mean, from here, there's very little that you can do as OMG. They're just running for the hills, hoping to mitigate the losses on them.
Oh my god, I just saw that Missing survived by casting Body Slam over there because he healed from the ability use. He was going to die to the bird. That was so close. Cold almost got a kill. They almost got their second kill of the game. They do not do so. I know it's almost, and that only works in horseshoes and hand grenades. So we'll see how this works out for JDG. As now OMG are trying to make a play in mid lane. They go for the cold play. They get the engage. The cast comes out, though. Missing separates the fight. And now we got double TPs being completed here. Cold is out in some trouble here, and so is Creme. What is going on? OMG are just getting decimated. The needlework comes through. Righteous Judgment is not doing anything yet again. I feel like I've said that so many times. A double kill for Kanavi, and JDG are up 11-1, 10,000 gold, and they are pushing in mid lane.
And there's still that Rift Herald there if they want to go over for it. Will despawn in just over a minute's time, though, so it would need to be quick if they want to try and get it. But honestly, they're already getting the towers, and Yagao's looking for more.
He wants more. He flashes. The Everfrost connects. The damage also connects. Abel. Fate's call comes through. Hope gets the kill. Aki gets away. The tower shots don't really mean much here, and another tower is going to die.
I mean, the solo laners for OMG are just getting bullied at this stage. 0-3 for Shanji, 0-4 for Creme, and the first death of the game now for Abel as well. Thanks to Yagao, Hope, and Missing. Kanavi will manage to get the Rift Herald, and I mean, you're already looking like one tier 1 down, potential tier 2 play with the Rift Herald, potential inhibitor play. But Cold on this replay tries to flash forward to get the knock up onto Hope, but even if he did, I just don't see who follows up, right? Like, Creme maybe could have looked for the dive on the bot side, backside, but not really there. And Yagao with the TP in as well just locks up the Ahri before she can really do it.
Yeah, Shanji realizes, he's got nothing left in the tank. Just gonna have to buy some time. Hopefully the Abel gets out, and the rest of the team did get out, but it still is hugely in favor of JDG. And we've had two very one-sided affairs here in this series so far, but that's exactly what I love, because that means game number 3 is gonna be the culmination of awesomeness that this series has been so far. But it is about JDG crossing those T's, dotting those I's, finishing this game off, in a little bit quicker fashion than OMG were able to do with a bigger lead last time around, but it's still got a lot to work through. 2 minutes for a dragon that comes up. That will be Mountain Soul for JDG, and that would be another nail in the coffin, as was the Ocean Soul for OMG last game into this second one.
Yeah, I mean, this is just JDG's game completely. Like, we were already kind of looking at that big lead for OMG in game one, but as you're saying, like a 12,000 gold lead at 20 minutes is absolutely absurd. And again, they've already done like the good job of getting their vision control in the spots they need, right? They have the Rift out in the back pocket. Okay, we want to use on the bot lane tier 2. Let's just make sure that we can actually get vision control on bot side to make sure that's safe. And OMG are going to try and desperate play for this.
They're going to do it.
Like in response to the inhibitor taking bot side.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really they could do besides make these kind of crazy plays. Yagao is waiting, though. He knows that if he gets in the pit, they are all doomed. Kanavi over on the side. Baron about 5,000 health here. OMG are committing to this tower. Falls at the bottom side, but it's all about the Baron fight. Who's going to get it? Kanavi tries to get into the pit. It is going to be taken by Creme, but afterwards, it's the Fate's Call that's going to be unleashed, and OMG are deleashed as they take out everybody just about. OMG are forced to run out of the Baron pit. It's a double kill for Hope, and they're losing their entire base. They've already lost the inhib. They've lost one Nexus tower, and 369 gets out with no scrapes.
I was going to say they got the Baron at least, but already you can see that gold not really equaling out because of how much 369 was able to take on the bot side. Inhibitor gone, tower in front of the Nexus gone as well, and 30 seconds until soul for JDG. Shanji won't even will just about be up, but no TP to get there means he'll arrive a little late. You can see here, right, JDG, they don't get the steal with Kanavi. The kill on the Baron does go across the Creme, but I mean, the health bars for OMG are just been absolutely decimated. Kanavi and Yagao in a great spot there to threaten the back line. You've got Missing, who's having a field day with these AoE abilities on the CC. Like, there's OMG at least gets something, but it cost them a loss. I
will say, I do actually really like the Shanji play there, the Righteous Judgment onto Aki, just to make sure he's immune to try and secure the smite. It didn't work. Like, he didn't get the smite off to secure it, but Creme got it anyways. But I think that's such an interesting combo. One of the little things that OMG can look at coming out of this game. But it will be the Mountain Soul, rather, getting stuck in game number one. The Mountain Soul for JDG, and slowly but surely, it's going to be a crushing mountain for OMG to come up against.
And you can't even leave your bases, OMG, because...
Oh, there you go. You left your base, and what happened? You got caught out, you got killed, and that is Yagao with a 4th kill of the game. OMG do get a pick back, though, and it is an overextension for Kanavi. Now TP coming through here. This will be a re-full on to Creme. The charm connects, Missing, doesn't get the kill. Spirit Rush is nice, but the Ignite cleansed out by Creme. Pops up the little Yubi. What's going on?
And that's the thing, is that, yes, you're losing members, but there's a big double stack super minion wave on the bot side. So 369 will move back up the top side to clear out the last remaining out of turret. And this is what I was talking about for OMG. Because you've got the super creeps pushing in the bot side and only one turret left, you're actually not able to leave your base because someone always has to deal with that super minion line. And that's what JDG are playing around right now, knowing they basically have that invisible 6th man on the bottom side thanks to the minions.
Shanji's at level 14. I need 2 more levels. Okay, Dagda, I can count 2 more levels, but they cannot lose the game before that happens. Maybe they'll even lose it after they get to level 16. But it is a terrifying fact that you have to deal with the side lane pressure. We'll see that play again in mid lane.
Yeah, just really nice engage there. Kanavi flashing up the wall to get the setup on towards Abel. I mean, because Aki's able to steal all the resistances back from the Viego, it does set it up a little bit to get that kill back. Creme surviving as well is pretty clutch here, because I think if Creme goes down, there is a potential here for JDG to just try and outright close the game there with the double stack super minions on bot lane. But for the moment, OMG holding on. It just feels like it's a matter of time, though, until they eventually lose out, because the nukes is slowly but surely closing around them with all this pressure that JDG have around the map.
It is a very similar game number 1 and 2 here as we go into it. It is a full engage from JDG. They're getting engaged on, though, as Yagao gets into the back. He goes golden, survives for so long. Cold with a massive knock-up here. OMG, but here comes 369. And that is a little bit of an oh my god, because he is terrifying. He's looking at the tower, though. Apparently, that's all 369's job now. He goes into the fight. He just wants to attack the tower.
Again, though, you can see the super minions on this bottom side, and that's where OMG have got to run across to. Shanji will take care of them as 369, and it looks like the rest of JDG going to try and move up towards this top side and see if they can crack the top side instead of mid.
Shanji's farming up those super minions, but that tower is worse for wear here as Creme tries to go in. He just gets taken out. Righteous Judgment comes out, though, and that's going to be huge to save the day, but it's 369 with the needlework to get a kill. Double for himself, the top laner for JDG. Another inhib as well going down, and JDG want to move towards mid lane to get these triple inhibs unlocked.
But OMG have now got to 3 kills. They've got so many more kills. This is where they can do it. JDG, all inhibitors down. The minions are there. OMG, their last breath is coming.
Frozen Tube came out. Yep, it's going to be it. JDG deja vuing what OMG did in game number 1 as they come out with a 15,000 gold lead to finish out the game just under 26 minutes in. Another iteration of why the LPL just does it best, of both these teams leaving everything on the rift here and leading us to a game 3 that at this point, I don't even know what could happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're expecting to see from JDG, though. This is why it can be a little bit frustrating when you see those happy-lucky games in game number 1 of their series, because they are so clean when they get leads. Like you can see here, when they have a game plan, they know exactly how to orchestrate it. It's just a case of not falling behind in the early game.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, especially like both games now. We've seen something happen crazily early, leads to that team kind of winning the game. And I think that's a super telling fact to go into the third game as like, are we going to see another level 1 shenanigans that we saw from OMG in game number 1? Do we see something to just tilt the table a little bit to kick off game 3? Or do we just get a slobber knocker going back and forth? Because both these teams have shown their willingness to fight, their willingness to be aggressive, even in this durability patch. We had double dives in that last one for JDG. And I think it's very, very crucial going into game 3 that we continue to see that for both teams, but in different iterations.
Yeah, I think the big thing, though, is that, like, you're kind of seeing when JDG are on form, how well they can do. Because as you said, right, like, they went for this dive on the top side, but a lot of that was already Yagao had control in the mid lane, had forced the reset coming through from Creme, so there was no teleport for Creme, which then allowed them to play up towards 369 and set up for that really cool dive, right? Like, you're seeing that the pieces are starting to come together for JDG, and when they do get those early leads, their mid game's unstoppable, right? Because chances are they've already picked up 1 or 2 dragons. They're looking at the Rift Herald because of the early advantages that they have. They're very good at like getting these neutrals to work in their favor as the game goes on. And unfortunately for OMG, they just couldn't quite keep up pace the second they started to fall behind.
And the conversation of what the mid game is going to look like for OMG, those guys, we didn't even have to ask that question because it was so one-sided. They didn't get a say in it whatsoever. And I got to go back to this top lane, man. We've had such a back and forth topside matchup. And this time around, 369 does not want to let Shanji have any advantage. And I think that matchup up there is going to be super, I guess, a little bit volatile going into game 3. I expect both these guys to come out swinging here.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that we've seen it heavily in favor of Shanji. We've seen it heavily now in favor of 369. And even though you look at the damage and go, well, 369 didn't do very much, it was that kind of unknown presence on the top side where it's hard to put into stats, but he was so good at like actually getting pressure in side lanes, keeping Shanji out of the equation. And he'd show up and you could see like instantly everyone at OMG is like, nope, not dealing with this dude. 3 items on the Gwen. She is terrifying and wasn't really up there in the damage percent, that happily going towards Yagao on this Lissandra. But the impact that he had on the map could not be understated.
Yeah, and this composition from JDG outright just looked pretty terrifying. We were talking about the CC, the mid lane, the fact that they got the Lissandra for Yagao and were able to pilot it so well. I'm very excited to see what the response is from OMG, because at this point, we've gotten the response we were looking for from JDG. Now we just got to get to the culmination of the series as we do send it off